Before we get into today's video, a massive thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this episode. By going to the link in the description, surfshark.deal/NintendoBC, and using the code NintendoBC, you'll get 85% off a 2-year plan and 3 additional months for free. We're in a day and age where it's easy for people to get your personal information online, whether it be for malicious intent, or even worse, sold to companies for personalized ads. Surfshark encrypts all data sent via the internet, protecting you from both hackers and Ganon's malice. That means posting as many selfies as you want with your Sheikah Slate and not having to worry about your personal information leaking. And there's no limit to how many devices can be attached to your account at once. Surfshark also includes a clean web feature letting you safely browse the internet with no ads, malware, or phishing attempts. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no time like the present to sign up. Just go to the link in the description, surfshark.deal/NintendoBC, and use the code NINTENDOBC. Arbiters Grounds is considered by many to be one of the best dungeons in the Zelda series. Stationed within the ocean of sand known as the Gerudo Desert, this execution chamber housed some of Hyrule's most ruthless criminals, including the fossil of an ancient beast, referred to as Stalord. More importantly, this dungeon acts as a pivotal point within the game's story. It's here where Ganondorf cheated death. Unbeknown to the sages, a great power lay within the Demon King, one which helped him escape this fate and break free from the chains binding him. It's never explained in the game why Ganondorf had been blessed with the chosen power of the gods. Thus, the events of his failed execution, murder of the Sage of Water, and banishment to the Twilight Realm was described as a divine prank. A mischievous act of the gods. But for what reason? The goddesses have intervened in affairs numerous times, such as Wind Waker's flooding of Hyrule, but it's always been for a good cause. Describing this sequence of events as an act of a higher power sounds unlikely. To fully understand why his execution played out as it did, it's important to delve into the events leading up to this fateful moment. The Zelda timeline consists of 3 splits: Fallen, Child, and Adult. The games which we'll be focusing on are Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and of course, Twilight Princess.
While much of the series' lore was established by Skyward Sword, such as origins of the Master Sword and the Demon Tribe's curse, Ocarina of Time created a formula used by 3D titles within the series. A sacred golden relic left behind by the goddesses, said to be an ultimate power sought out by the Gerudo King Ganondorf, a reincarnation of the miser's hatred. The hero of Time's actions had inadvertently led him to the Triforce by drawing the Master Sword and opening the Gate of Time. If one touches the Triforce and has an imbalance of power, courage and wisdom, the relic will shatter into 3 pieces, only keeping the one which represents what they most believe in. The other 2 will go to the bodies of those chosen by fate. Since Ganondorf valued power over anything else, he was left with the Triforce of Power, with the pieces of courage and wisdom going to Link and Zelda. Throughout the series, the holders of the Triforce of Power, Wisdom and Courage have remained the same, those people being Ganondorf, Zelda and the hero Link. The Gerudo King kept his piece of the Triforce, despite being defeated and sealed away in Ocarina of Time. The relic could not be completed with the missing piece. Therefore, the Triforce of Courage and Wisdom were hidden away to prevent the Demon King from tracking them down.
While Twilight Princess's Ganondorf is the very same from Ocarina of Time, this doesn't answer why he holds the Triforce of Power. Princess Zelda had used the Ocarina of Time to send the hero back to his own timeline so he could live out his childhood, to a time before the Master Sword was first drawn, so that the door of time remained closed. In other words, cutting off Ganondorf's only route to the Triforce. A young hero of time then warned the royal family of the Gerudo King's plans, who was detained and sent to Arbiters Grounds to later be executed. We have a Ganondorf who never set foot in the Sacred Realm, never laid his hands on the Triforce, suddenly use its power to cheat death and break free from his chains. Both the dialogue and visuals push this narrative, with the Triforce of Power resonating once he is stabbed. In fact, the same thing happened with both the hero of Twilight and Princess Zelda. The question is, if Ganondorf never managed to break into the Sacred Realm, how did he obtain the power of the Triforce? Our answer lies in the ending of Ocarina of Time. The moment where Link is sent back to his own timeline, where he warns the princess of Ganondorf's evil scheme. A familiar looking symbol can be seen on his left hand, the Triforce of Courage. Despite keeping the entrance to the Sacred Realm closed, the Hero of Time has one of the relic's pieces. By the Triforce's own rules, it means the other two would go to those chosen by fate, Princess Zelda and Ganondorf. When Ganondorf was struck down by the sages at Arbiters Grounds, his desire to live on triggered his piece of the Triforce, granting him the power to escape death. This series of events caught the sages by surprise, and thus was looked at as a divine prank. At this point in time, they believe the Triforce is safe in the Sacred Realm, not knowing its pieces have already been split. All thanks to a certain individual. Not Ganondorf, or even the Hero of Time, but Princess Zelda herself.
The very reason Link has the Triforce of Courage ties into Ocarina of Time's ending. One who holds a piece of the relic is sent back to his own time. But while the hero is seen with his part of the Triforce in the post-credits scene, it is not the same as the one found in the adult timeline, as Wind Waker gives us the last piece of the puzzle. The Hero of Time was called to embark on another journey, leaving the land of Hyrule. This wasn't a trip to another land, but a whole different timeline. This is why no hero was present once Ganondorf returned to the realm. It's also why the Triforce of Courage seen in the Wind Waker isn't the same as the one from Ocarina of Time's ending. The relic split into 8 shards, which were hidden throughout the land, and later reassembled by the Hero of Winds. Compared to other titles where the Triforce of Courage is simply passed down to the next hero, the behavior of this piece is irregular, most likely because the holder of that piece traveled to a different timeline, which had its own Triforce. Containing the essence of the goddesses, the Triforce is what maintains balance in the world. The Sacred Realm serves as a mirror, reflecting the heart of those who enter it and claim the Triforce. This is why the realm transforms into a corrupt world after the Gerudo King claims a piece of the Triforce. A Link Between Worlds demonstrates just how important this relic is to maintaining the world's balance. Many wars were fought by those who wished to take the power for their own, and Hilda's ancestors chose to destroy it and end this endless conflict. Unfortunately, this threw the kingdom out of balance. Lorule began to crumble, and thus the plot to steal Hyrule's Triforce came to fruition. If the Hero of Time's piece went with him to the child timeline, the adult split would have been without the Triforce of Courage. Hyrule's collapse would follow, bringing it to a fate similar to Lorule's. Knowing this, the Triforce of Courage removed itself from the hero, and in doing so, shattered the relic.
We're told that the Hero of Time was separated from the elements that made him a hero. However, we see Link with the Triforce of Courage of the child timeline at the post-credits scene. The proof of him being a hero never left him, it went with him. While each Triforce is bound to its own timeline, the Golden Goddesses themselves are considered to be omnipotent and eternal. It's the goddesses who appoint a hero to rise and defeat evil, granting both him and a princess with the blood of the goddess the Triforce of Courage and Wisdom. Naturally, this proof would remain with those chosen by fate, even when traveling through time, as it was given to them by gods who transcend time itself. This explains both why the Hero of Time kept his piece and why Ganondorf was able to use the Triforce of Power in the midst of his execution. He was most likely unaware of having this power until the moments before his death, perhaps with a wish to not die. Many characters of the series live out their lives without knowledge of the power they hold, examples being Tetra of Wind Waker, and more importantly, the Hero of Twilight. This ties back into the events which sealed Hyrule's fate. Both of them, actually. By sending the hero back to his own time, Zelda had inadvertently endangered the kingdoms of both the adult and child. Those in the former were left without a hero to stop Ganon's onslaught once freed from the seal, while sending Link back to his own time caused the Triforce to split, giving Ganondorf the Triforce of Power without him having to lift a finger. If she were to not have done this, Ganon may have been defeated without the need of flooding Hyrule, and the child timeline would have never been created.
So there you have it, the events leading up to Ganondorf's execution are what lead to the murder of the Sage of Water, banishment to the Twilight Realm, and uprise of the usurper King Zant. There was no divine prank, it was simply the results of a fatal mistake made by the princess, who let her own feelings of guilt override her better judgment. But I mean, no one really liked the Water Temple anyways, am I right? Am I right?
Thank you all for watching today's video. There wasn't as much to explain for this one, hence why it's shorter. Special thanks to Commonwealth Realm for joining me on this episode. I joined them in a video discussing the glowing hand from Breath of the Wild 2's trailer and its possible connections to the Zonai, along with how it may work as a gameplay mechanic. A link to that video will be both in the description and the end card. One other video I want to recommend is MaskedNintendoBandit, which delves into the mystery of Xant's neck crack in Twilight Princess's ending. It ties into Ganondorf's execution and involves a Triforce, so you may find some enjoyment in that. Special thanks to my patrons, as I do appreciate your support. There is a link to my Patreon page down below, but never feel obligated to become one. And as always, feel free to follow me on Twitter or check out our Discord. Lastly, I want to say that while more Zelda videos are in the works, it's been harder to find good ideas and topics to discuss. I don't want to upload content I'm not proud of, therefore I can't promise that there will be a video each week. Most of the ideas I have are related to Breath of the Wild, though making videos on the same game over and over can get tiring. With that said, I appreciate both your support and patience, and I will see you guys next time.